Hello. I'm broadcasting this a little earlier than I normally would do, in fact a lot earlier, because I'm actually going to be on a train at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning when I would normally be doing this. I hope you'll forgive the change in time, but as I'm spending the weekend doing some more training in qigong, I hope you will forgive me, and I hope that I will be able to pass on the benefits of my greater and deeper understanding of what I do and what I teach in these videos in a way that will help you. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a detailed breakdown of move 2. This carries on the series that I said I would start last week. I will then lead you through the normal move set, and then I will do the normal mindfulness meditation at the end. As normal, the meditation will begin with the sound of a singing bowl and end with the sound of the singing bowl. So you can either stand up or sit to watch the how I demonstrate this next move. In fact, I'm going to stand to demonstrate the move. I might try and actually do the move seated in a little bit. So, move 2 is all about the chest and the lungs. It's also all about the middle dantian, which basically runs from there up to there. And this move is all about getting breath and energy into your body. So the posture is, as normal, very important. It's quite important to have your back straight, because if you ever try breathing when you're hunched up like that, it's not really very easy to do. So standing upright so your chest can expand is a key part of this. Now, all moves are designed ideally to be done in one in-breath and then reversed in one out-breath. The first move, the raising of the arms, open the gates, is actually quite easy to do in one in-breath and one out-breath. The second move, however, is not quite so easy, and there are 2 ways that you can actually deal with this. So I'll demonstrate the move first of all in completely. So as you breathe in, your hands float up, then you turn your hands inwards and spread your arms out. And then as you breathe out, your hands float back in and back down. Okay. Now, with raising the arms, it's normally a count of 3 or 4. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4. It's an awful lot to get that move in on a breathe in, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4. You may only get halfway. So there are 2 ways of dealing with this. The first is to actually not do it all in one move. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So you do a breathe in, sorry, I'll get this right. So you breathe in and breathe out to get your hands to there. Breathe in and breathe out to get your hands back to there. And then breathe in and breathe out to complete the move. The other way of doing it, and to be honest, I think this is actually the best way, is to remember something I always say, which is to only make the move as big as you can easily manage in one natural in-breath and out-breath. In which case, you breathe in and breathe out. So if you've only got a small breath and you can't do the prolonged breath that this move really needs, you just move your hands a short distance. So you breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, while in an ideal world you would kind of get your hands pointing all the way down to the ground, the main thing with this move is to think of a kind of a Y shape, and your fingers are going to draw a Y shape in the air. So as you breathe in, they draw the tail of the Y and then spread out. And then as you breathe out, your hands float back in, doing the two arms of the Y and sink back down. So if you use your imagination, you can see that sort of Y shape in the air as you move your hands. Okay, so from an energetic point of view, it's probably best to restrict how far you move with your natural breath, because obviously it is quite important to coordinate this move with your breath. However, this move is also very good for the shoulders, and if expanding your arms out as far as possible could be useful for your shoulders, never mind your chest, then your best approach is probably not to try and do it all in one breath, but to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in and breathe out. So it's actually 3 breaths. Either way, this is all about getting air into your lungs, and more importantly, getting energy into this part of you, into your middle dantian, which is the way traditional Chinese medicine would look at it. It is also about the shoulders, and a very important part with this is making sure that your shoulders are actually not too cramped. However, as with all these moves, the most important thing is you're not trying to do it perfectly, but you're trying to do it perfectly for you, because this is all about you learning to tune into your mind and your body, and to coordinate it with your breath. So whatever way you choose to do, whether you choose to split the breath up, with that being breathe in and breathe out, or whether you just move your arms a short distance, it doesn't matter as long as what you are doing works for you. Obviously, if you have the breath and the movement capacity to do the move as fully as possible with one breath, that is the best thing, because that's actually what, with repetition, we would hope that we would get to. So with the first move, we've filled up your lower dantian with energy. This second move gets energy into your middle dantian. In the next video, we will look in detail at the third move and how to do that in the best possible way. But for now, I'd just like to invite you to get yourself into a good bear stance, or if you're sitting, just get yourself seated in the best possible way. So if you're standing, you want your feet a hip width apart, with your feet parallel and pointing forward. You're aiming to have your hips, knees and toes all lined up. You want your back nice and straight. You want your neck nice and straight. You want your hands hanging gently down by your side. If you're seated, then try to make sure that your back is nice and straight, that your neck is nice and straight, or as straight as you can get it, and your hands can either hang relaxed by your side or you can get them onto your lap, whichever works for you. So take a moment to get yourself into the best posture that you can. Close your eyes and just for a moment breathe, and just use your breath to tune into your body and maybe to tune into your mind and get a feel for what's going on. When you've got a feel for what's going on, maybe take a moment to work out how you want to feel at the end of this session. And get your hands hanging with the palms of your hands facing towards the back, or if they're on your lap, just have your hands resting on your lap with your palms down. And then with your next in-breath, slowly let your arms float up in front of you. And as you breathe out, just let your hands sink all the way back down. Only move your arms as far as you can easily manage in one breath. And your own breath and your own rhythm for what you do. But as you breathe in and raise your arms up, maybe you could imagine that you're pulling energy up from the earth. And that energy mixes with your energy. Breathe in, let your arms float up. Breathe out, and they slowly sink back down. Breathe in, let your arms gently rise. And as you breathe out, they just sink all the way back down. And then the last time for this move. Breathe out, let your hands sink down, and at the bottom, just relax and let go. And then we'll move into the second move, which you all now know. So breathe in, your hands float up and then spread out wide. As you breathe out, your hands float back in and back down. Only move your arms as far as you can easily get them in one gentle, easy breath is my recommendation. And as you spread your arms out, try to feel your chest and lungs expanding. And as you breathe out, feel them just relaxing. And maybe you could imagine the air being pulled down deep into your lungs. As you breathe out, just feel everything relax. Breathe in, imagine you're breathing in a good and positive energy. As you breathe out, maybe you can imagine you breathe out any stress or tension like grace melt. Breathe in, let your hands float up and spread out. As you breathe out, your hands float back in and back down. And then the last time for this move. Breathe out, let your hands float back in and back down. And at the bottom, just relax and let go. Then with your next in-breath, raise your hands to form an arch. As you breathe out, dip slightly on your left knee and let your right arm float down As you breathe in, your hand comes up as your weight comes up. Then do the same on the other side, dipping on the right knee and reaching the left arm out. And maybe you could imagine that you've got rainbow coloured paint on your fingers. But as you move your fingers through the air, you're painting a rainbow. Breathe out. Let one hand float down. As you breathe in, the hand floats up. And then the last time for this move, breathe in, bring your weight back to the centre, let your hand form the arch. And then as you breathe out, turn your hands out and let your hands sweep all the way down by the side. So breathe in, your hands rise up again. And maybe you can imagine that as your hands sweep down, you're sweeping away any clouds that might be surrounding you. Sweeping away any negative energies that you don't need. Breathe in, your hands float up. As you breathe out, they sweep all the way down, pushing away the clouds. And then the last time for this move, breathe out and let your hands sweep all the way down. At the bottom, just relax and let go. Then with your next in-breath, bring both hands up in front of you with the palms up. Engage your core abdominal muscles if you can. And then as you breathe out, turn from the waist and let one hand float out to one side. And as you breathe in, turn back and let the hand float back into the centre. And then do the same on the other side. And you can imagine that you're gathering in energy from around you in the room. Breathe out, turn from the waist and let one hand float out. And as you breathe in, turn back and let the hand float in. And then last time for this move, breathe in, bring your hand back in. Then just relax and let go. And then bring your hands up into position, ready to balance your chi. Smooth round that imaginary ball, and as you breathe out, let your hands sink down. Breathe in, take your hands up and over the top, and as you breathe out, your hands sink down. And then last time for this move, breathe out and let your hands sink down. And then get your hands crossed in front of you or down by your side, whatever is most comfortable. And just for a moment, stand or sit still and quiet, and just let everything settle. And then get yourself seated or lying down, whatever you want to do, ready for the meditation. Take a moment to get yourself settled and comfortable. Then I'd like to invite you to listen to the sound of the singing bowl. Follow the sound of the singing bowl as it fades into silence. And then I'd like you to settle yourself a little bit deeper into the chair or wherever you're getting yourself comfortable. Really become aware of the support where your body touches the chair. And maybe you could imagine that gravity pulls you just a little bit deeper into your chair. And as it does so, feel yourself relax a little bit more and let your shoulders sink just a little more. Really enjoy the feeling of relaxation. And then I'd like you to bring your attention to your breath. Just like you to be aware of every in-breath and every out-breath. Let your breath be natural and easy. Don't change your breath in any way, but just try to notice every in-breath and every out-breath. Notice how you sense each breath. What is it about a breath that you are aware of? Maybe you are aware of air moving through your nose and throat. Maybe you're aware of muscles moving in your chest or in your abdomen. Whatever it is that you're most aware of, let your attention rest there. Because right here, right now, nothing else matters except just this breath coming in and just this breath going out. And if you find that your mind wants to wander away to other things, maybe get bored, maybe get irritated, maybe you get annoyed with yourself, that's okay because that's perfectly natural. Minds wander. And mindfulness isn't about clearing your mind, it's about noticing what your mind is doing. So when you notice that your mind has wandered away from your breath, you can maybe acknowledge the thought that took it away, but then gently just lead your mind back to focusing on every in-breath and every out-breath. Because right here, right now, nothing else matters except just this breath coming in, just this breath going out, just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. There is so much movement with your breath. But maybe you could become aware of that moment of stillness in between each breath when there is no movement. When your out breath becomes an in breath, and then when your in breath becomes an out breath, for a brief moment there is stillness. Try to become aware of that moment of stillness. And you might like to remember that that moment of stillness happens hundreds and hundreds of times every day. In that moment of stillness, be calm and peaceful. And maybe you could imagine that every time that moment of stillness happens, it puts a tiny drop of stillness into that place inside you where you keep the good feelings that you can need at times. We all have a place hidden deep within us where we keep feelings that we need to tap into if life decides to get difficult. I want you to find that place now. And with your next in-breath, I want you to imagine that you breathe down deeply into that special place. And as you breathe out, your breath carries with it that feeling that you need right here, right now. And as you continue to breathe quite gently and calmly, I want you to imagine that that feeling slowly spreads around the whole of your body, starting with your toes, and then your feet, and then it rises up through your ankles, along your legs and through your knees. And it moves through your knees to fill your thighs, and it rises up into your hips and buttocks. It starts to fill your body all the way from your hips up to your shoulders. And filling every part of your body in between, your chest, your back, your tummy, your sides. And then that feeling tumbles down from your shoulders into your fingertips. And it fills up your fingers and your hands and rises up through your wrists, all the way along your arms, through your elbows, and back up to your shoulders again. And then finally that feeling goes up through your neck into your head and face, so that the whole of your body is filled with that feeling, all the way from the top of your head, all the way down to the very tips of your toes. And just for a moment, I'd like you to keep the whole of your body in your awareness, and be aware of it filled with this good feeling. And just for a moment, rest here in this moment, in this feeling. Then I'd like you to once again become aware of the touch of the chair on your body. Become once again aware of where your body is. Gradually let your attention spread out, becoming aware of the sounds both inside and outside the room. And then gently, slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back to normal awareness. But as you do, keep in the front of your mind the idea and the intention. Take this good feeling with you. I hope that was enjoyable and that you learned something. And I will do another video for you next week when I will look in detail at the third move of this sequence. Thank you and goodbye.